I have finally unlocked every trophy within the Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak expansion. With a total of 50 trophies to obtain, I'll show you the journey from completing the story, fighting the most powerful monsters, taking pictures of rare creatures, and of course, butchering the pronunciation of monsters' names. Let's begin with the story. After the events of Rise, we are alerted by Rondine that she received a letter from her sister detailing monsters from the kingdom are beginning to invade neighboring territories. A daimyo hermitor has been spotted in the shrine ruins, a giant crab with strong pincers and a sturdy shell. After a successful hunt, we find ourselves ambushed by a wolf-like beast. Following alongside with it, Rondine's sister, Theorain, who we managed to help by making the beast flee with a flash bomb. This would unlock our first trophy. We have a meeting with Theorain and Elder Fugan, and they discuss how the kingdom had a similar calamity to that of the Rampage. A giant crater opened, and the Elder Dragon Malzeno emerged, bringing the kingdom to the brink of ruin, then it simply disappeared. Its whereabouts remain unknown. Fearing its return, the Royal Order begun to build an outpost to monitor the crater. The hypothesis is that perhaps the invading monsters are acting this way due to the return of Malzeno. Elder Fugan tasked us to help Theorain with the kingdom, as every ecosystem will be affected due to these invading monsters. We travel by boat to arrive at the outpost Elgardo, and meet Admiral Gallius, the chief of operations, as well as several other members of the team, from the merchant to the blacksmith. Getting up to speed with Master Rank, we slay a few invading monsters in the jungle, such as the Royal Ludroth and the Tetranodon. During these hunts, I would use the power of morphed wire bugs. There is a red and yellow variant that provides a buff while using Wyvern riding. By using both for the first time, unlocks me a trophy. We then have an urgent quest to deal with a Bishaten in the shrine ruins. However, it is a subspecies known as Blood Orange, and it is not native to that locale. It is noticeably different with its fire-enhanced attacks, but with the help of Theorain, we're able to slay the creature for a trophy. It is reported that the researchers have discovered trails of the kingdom's three lords, much more powerful monsters. However, one of them cannot continue their investigation as they have been pursued by an Anjanath in the flooded forest. The Tyrannosaurus, with a long tail capable of sweeping you off your feet, to its fiery breath that can be devastating. I target its vulnerable legs and cut off its tail to get an advantage in the fight before it eventually succumbs. With the researcher now safe, he can identify more tracks to one of the three lords, Garangolm. They aren't known for leaving their territory, so what is it doing? We identify the location of it and find out it is now attacking nearby settlements. The Garangolm is a gigantic titan covered in a rocky shell. It has powerful swings and can use the surrounding soil to outfit its body, enhancing its attacks. I target its forearms and skull to maximize my damage before it eventually falls. We investigate the surroundings to help us in our research when the sky starts to turn red. We notice moth-like creatures flocking somewhere, unlocking our next trophy. Samples of the monsters we have been collecting are needed for further research. In the meantime, we slay through the mud-sliding Almudron, the strong-hitting Barioth, to the nimble Toby Kadachi. I also unlocked a trophy tied to this snowy Kahoot, located at the very top of Elgardo. Every time we complete a quest, we can give it some food, and after several times of doing this, we'll get the trophy. The scientists discover small wounds all over the samples, bite marks, and they are unable to be identified. We come to the hypothesis that it's probably those moth-like creatures we saw which influenced the Garangolm's aggressiveness. Some of these creatures have been spotted near an Aurora somnicanth, which is the perfect time to capture some. This subspecies might just be easier, as it has an ice ailment instead of sleep. With new equipment crafted from all the monsters I have fought so far, I shred through it with the Curzblayz. After collecting some samples, they decide to name the creature Curio, and while tests are being done on them, we continue with our assignments from fighting the agile Nagakuga and the silk-wielding Rachna Kadaki. Our next free lord is then spotted, a Lunar Garon, the wolf-like beast we saw at the beginning. In addition, the Curio have also been seen alongside it, which might just be correlated to the monster's behaviour, but it is too early to tell. The Lunar Garon attacks fast with its lethal claws, dashing at high speeds to catch me off guard, and slicing through in front of it after enhancing itself with an icy coat, giving it an even sharper appearance. After successfully slaying the beast and preparing to take it away, Curio begin to descend from the sky with the sudden appearance of Malzeno. It's too strong for us, leaving Fiorane injured, and the Curio are seen feasting on the corpse of the Lunar Garon before flying away with Malzeno, unlocking our next trophy. Unfortunately for Fiorane, her injury has escalated further, poisoning from the fangs of the Curio. This very same substance has been making the monsters berserk. The poison was absorbed in the monster's blood, making it impossible to detect, but in a human it didn't fully mix, allowing them to find the answer. It turns out that Malzeno's body is coursing with this poison, however it doesn't turn it crazy but makes it stronger, which gives the Curio more to feed on, making them parasites living off Malzeno. To restore Fiorane to proper health, we'll have to find Dr. Todori, a specialist in medicine. To get to him, we had to slay the violent Astalos, an electrifying wyvern yielding tremendous strength and an amplified attack range. Its wings charge its crest-shaped organs with vast amounts of electricity that can be dispersed on their head and tail. With the monster successfully defeated, we find the Doctor and explain the situation to him. However, to create this medicine, we'll need to defeat an Espinas, a tough-skinned wyvern that can make our blades dull easily, capable of afflicting many ailments such as fire blight, paralysis, and poison. One small misstep and you can easily find yourself back at camp. A successful hunt later, and we have the resources to create the medicine. As we wait for it to take effect on Fiorane, we fulfill more hunts from the powerful Gore Magala, capable of slamming into the ground to cause the earth to rupture, to the Pyre Kadaki, now filled with flammable material, using their forelimbs like flints to induce explosions. I would also unlock more trophies, like eating the hopping skewers at the canteen multiple times, then another for using many switch skill swaps. This allows us to assign different skills to the blue and red scroll as seen in the center of the screen. Continuously switching between the two will eventually unlock the trophy. And the next was for talking to every possible person in Elgardo. The medicine is successful in treating Fiorane, which means we'll be able to launch our counterattack on Malzeno.
Those who let themselves be lured into the trap will be whisked away by a swift gale, the embodiment of darkness. A darkness that does not let its victims go, as they are slowly drained of their life. The servants keep providing their master with vital essence. And once the time is ripe, the darkness will show itself, basking in moonlight.
The Curio depart from its body and scatter elsewhere. With their main food source gone, they should eventually die out, but they are still fluttering around. While they are tracked down by the researchers, I'd unlock 2 more trophies. The first for finding all the old messages in the 2 new maps, being the jungle and the citadel, these collectible swords scattered in very obscure locations, and the second for discovering suitable camps in each new environment. I then dealt with monsters like the ultra-aggressive Rajang, to the fierce Teostra, and Shaguru Magala, a relentless elder dragon that applies frenzy with its powerful lunges to its hyper beam. Upon victory, we witness the Curio consume an Anjanath, and it is assumed they have found a new host, where they have been gathering at the Citadel, a place that was once cursed by the archdemon of the Abyss. The Curio have been supplying it with food from monsters across the land, finally reaching its power to arise to the surface. It will devour the land, turning souls into wandering flames. It was never Malzeno controlling the Curio or creating the craters. Its original intention was to defend its territory, but the demon used its Curio to siphon off Malzeno, and because it never surfaced, the cause of the problem was always thought to be Malzeno. Now all left to do is kill the archdemon.
Its voice can be heard. The time has come. From the depth it beckons, come to me. As it feeds on stolen life, its power grows ever stronger. until it finally reveals itself.
Shine and show the way. You've proven yourself a true hero.
Without their host, it's all over. One story ends, another begins. Where is the place of our return? It's an old song from the kingdom. It's as if all of this was foretold long ago.
With the main story of Sunbreak finished, there are still a lot of trophies to obtain. My next one was tied to the Palamutes. There are requests given by the people of Elgardo, and by delivering parts or hunting monsters to complete the objectives, it unlocks us equipment for them and eventually the trophy. Just like in Rise, we'll have to complete pretty much every quest available to us in Sunbreak. This means I'll need to upgrade my equipment over time to make future hunts easier and of course quicker. I would obtain a trophy for crafting 5 pieces of valuable weapons and armor at rarity 10. I was then introduced to the anomaly investigations. This is where monsters have become infected by Curio, making them stronger, which increases their health and can inflict a debuff on you. This debuff decreases your healing, but you can lifesteal by hitting the monster. By slaying my first unlocks me a trophy. Next, I got my Palicos and Palamutes to go into the Argosy, where I sent them to retrieve items with the letters of introduction applied. They'll randomly gather them and eventually we'll have enough for another trophy. I then hunted a total of 100 large master rank monsters and spoke to Pingar the Sailor, as when you return from a quest, he has a chance to randomly give you an item out of the many he has, and this happened to be the last one I needed for a trophy. Returning to the anomaly investigations, each time we are successful it will increase our research level, and by reaching level 50 it unlocks another trophy. Anomaly monsters also drop unique materials, allowing us to enhance our equipment for better stats or skills, and that's what I did for 2 more trophies. I then followed up by completing a level 100 investigation. With all this hunting, I had a lot of materials available, so I decided to make some layered armor, specifically rarity 10 for a trophy. Fulfilling more villager requests, I would obtain every buddy dojo upgrade for the Palicos and Palamutes. Following up on this, there are these Eureka corns you can randomly obtain, and they can be used on your buddies to upgrade their skill slots, making them stronger. Then by having a total of 10 of them, with maxed out skill slots, unlocks another trophy. Eventually, I would finish all the villager requests within Chimera and Elgardo. One of them had given me great wire bugs which I could use at these launch points around the map, allowing me to easily traverse large amounts of terrain, and by discovering them all in the jungle and the Citadel, unlocks me another trophy. Within the new environments meant new creatures that we could photograph, the regal fin in the jungle to the Gargolda in the Citadel. Then there were the gold and ruby wire bugs, as well as many more scattered around. Speaking of many things scattered around, there are now buddy recon destinations within the maps. This is a unique form of fast travel, and by simply finding them all unlocks me another trophy. At this point, it was now time to clear through practically every quest the game has to offer, like completing many master rank quests. Even though we can skip the post-update monsters, which are typically the hardest the game has to offer, the reward for completing them is very good equipment, which will of course speed up the process of clearing up the rest of these trophies, because at the end of this platinum, we'll need to be slaying a total of 1,000 4,000 master rank monsters. Next was clearing through the arena missions. These give you a choice of equipment to use against the monsters, which can be a little frustrating, especially if you haven't played any of the weapons it offers for that quest, which I found to be the case with the Lunar Garon, taking me more attempts than the Furious Rajang. Then there was completing many of the anomaly quests, where thankfully we can use our own equipment to speed up clears, which led me into completing 50 quests in the Citadel. There's even more quests to do, as Sunbreak added followers, which includes follower quests and support surveys. Followers are additional hunters that can benefit you in the fight, and you can bring 2 of them with you. First, we go on hunts with just the character like Kinoa or Theorain and complete their quests, which then allows them to join other ones and use different weapons like the very useful hunting horn. We eventually reach the point where we'll deepen the bonds with many followers and completing all the follower quests as well as the support surveys. This would also lead into hunting 500 large master rank monsters and completing 50 quests in the jungle. That seems like a lot of trophies in a short amount of time without much explanation, and there really isn't much to explain because all we're doing is hunting monsters. Next, I completed quests that granted me new Dango recipes, therefore unlocking me a trophy, then received the red sash retaining even more switch skills after talking to Atushi. Thankfully, it is easier to tell when a quest fulfill these requirements, which is indicated by the message box symbol. Just like in Rise, there are more monsters to gather crowns for. If you don't know what a crown is, it is where every time you fight a monster, it is a different size, and for these trophies, we want to find the smallest and largest crown sizes. With the addition of Sunbreak, some quests can guarantee you a few crowns, but for most, you'll be consistently hunting the same monster at a percentage chance, or you can instead measure the monster with a bomb or your character, though I voted for the first one most of the time due to a tedious trophy that still needs to be unlocked, and then the latter when I didn't feel like fighting the monster. Getting a crown is downgraded. You are just shown size updated after hunting the monster. There is no showcase like in World after finishing the quest. Instead, you must navigate to your journal and see if you have it there. Eventually, after hours upon hours of hunting a variety of monsters, I would unlock both trophies. Right, gonna get another 2 trophies here because that's the final crown for large ones. And the gold crown shield. This is the Sunbreak variant. Fullest size updated. This should be the final crown I need, assuming it is a crown. And miniature crown shield, awarded for registering almost all crown sizes. Kinda odd to have these trophies this early, as I think in the other entries I left them till last before the platinum due to their time commitment, but I would say there are a few more tedious ones. Though, let's mention the introduction of Risen Elder Dragons, which are harder variants and are only accessible after leveling up your hunter rank quite far. There are 2 more trophies to be had here by slaying our first, then 15 of them. Now let's talk about one of those tedious trophies, and it is tied to the anomaly investigations. We'll get a trophy for slaying 100 afflicted monsters, but we must hunt many more, as after each quest you are rewarded anomaly coins, which can be a very little amount to begin with from 3 to 5, and we need to collect 3,000. Each time you complete an anomaly investigation, you'll raise the level, making it more difficult, therefore increasing the rewards. However, there is this research card that will go up by 1 after completing a quest of a certain level, which is shown by this symbol. The benefit of this card is that it will show a specific monster for a few quests, granting you 2 instead of the 1, and by reaching 10 it will give us a lot of coins. It's luck here, because we could get a monster but not have the investigations for it, yet we can use the trick by failing a quest because the research card will be refreshed after doing so. By simply failing a singular faint quest, we can easily reset the card for a different monster and hope we have an investigation at a high enough level for it. This is because we'll randomly obtain investigations during the ones we complete. The initial progress of starting this trophy was unbearable due to how little you earn, but as you begin to level up your investigations, you can earn a lot more coins, but the trade-off is the monsters are a lot stronger with their increased health, meaning they'll take slightly longer to defeat. They also have these glowing red spots that you must target, because if you fail to deal enough damage to them in time, they will explode, which will of course hurt a lot. As these monsters are stronger than usual, this is where we'll want to make use of Spirit Birds. They are perma-buffers scattered around the map to find during a quest, as eating a meal does not fully increase our stats, and because monsters are going to be hitting very hard, it is a good idea to get a few of these Spirit Birds to increase our stats to stop us from fainting within a couple of hits, which means we'll be adding even more time to complete these quests. Eventually, we would reach 3,000 coins to spend for the trophy. As you can see, research request completed, 10 out of 10, report to Bahari, going to give us a bunch of investigation coins, and I am now at over 3,000, and I'm pretty sure we just want to spend it. There we go. Probably the most tedious and repetitive trophy in the game is to hunt 1,000 large master rank monsters. This is why crown hunting isn't as bad, because you'll still have to get this one. After completing all the quests tied to the trophy so far, the easiest method to reach 1,000 was to play the quest Rookie Hunter's Welcome and slay the Great Azuchi and Baggy, then return to rinse and repeat. My last trophy before the platinum is the Solid Padlock, which has a few requirements like the additional relics from the jungle and the citadel to the lottery system, where each time we complete a quest, there is a random chance of the lottery appearing at the market, and then there is the possibility of one of several items being there that we need. After a while, we'll have obtained all the items, but then we'll need to hunt at least 10 of each new monster in Sunbreak, as this means you can now buy their respective trinkets from the Argosy needed for the trophy. I have all the scrolls here, and I was missing this one, and as soon as I buy it, I should get the equivalent platinum trophy of the Sunbreak. And it's not. Oh no, Solid Padlock it is! Rewarded for collecting even more trinkets of wall haggins, won't budge no matter what. And Hero's Accolade. The mark of a great hero who's acquired a large number of wards. That is all of Sunbreak done. If you watched the Rise video, you probably noticed that I've done the expansion on PlayStation instead of continuing my original save. Yes, I did start all over again, and completed as much of Rise as I needed to do to 100% Sunbreak, as it seems like some trophies do not unlock unless you've done the Rise counterpart, which is seen with the arena quests and crowns. Unfortunately, Sunbreak did not receive a platinum trophy like Iceborne did. Speaking of which, if you enjoyed this video, you might like my platinum playthroughs on the other Monster Hunter games.